So in 1925 there was quite no scientific knowledge about cannabis, and even in '61 for the convention, the single convention, we didn't know yet about the active ingredient of cannabis, because this molecule that we name now THC was just discovered and synthesized in 1963 by Professor Mechoulam, and it's only in 1994, so very close to us, 30 years ago, that we discovered that each human being, even Henry Anslinger, who was the head of the anti-narcotic drugs in USA, have in his body, in his brain, some cannabinoid receptor, and that this endocannabinoid system is very, very, very important for our metabolism. And so that's the journey, again, of the cannabis prohibition. I started because you wanted to ask a question, maybe.
Yes, you start 100 years ago, right? Because there's been reports about cannabis for several hundred years, because it's always been problematized when more and more people have used it. Like, it was this Indian-British report of 3,000 pages or something that needed to investigate what this was, and they found out it was nothing to address there. For example, like, there's been a lot of reports during the years.
Yeah,
so
for sure. For sure.
It just depends on what type of research you recognize as valid.
Yeah, for sure. I've got another anecdote here on that. I was talking about the scientific past, but in the early 80s there was a very high-profile professor, Professor Naas, who was considered as the main opponent of the cannabis worldwide, and who had a very high skill into, at that time we don't talk about biogenetic, but he had this kind of skill trying to know what's happened in the brain, and he was so focused on the fact that he wants to have the result that cannabis is a real danger, a real poison for the brain.